Good morning, everybody. I think we already say hello, but let's make it official. Good morning. I'm very glad to see you here. But before we start with the first talk, I would like Dominic, on behalf of the IOU, to make the official welcome. Please.
Thank you very much. It is really quite a pleasure for me to be able to just say a few words before you start your important workshop. First of all, I would like to really thank Juan Mazello, who has been spearheading the working group Psittaciformes. We know each other for quite some time because of parrot work, and it was in Brazil at Congress in 2010 that we started this working group, and one has been extremely skillful and hardworking in bringing together so many people whose concern are parrots. And you may not know me, I'm the secretary of the International Ornithologist Union. And when I started my PhD at the University of Zurich, my professor told me, well, you know, you are a fairly good student. We don't know anything about parrots. Why don't you start to work on them and see what you can make out of it? And this was a time before Forshaw's big volume has been published. So there was no checklist, no nothing about parrots as a whole, and except Peter's checklist. And so I started, and I had always birds in cages and so on. I was extremely lucky to be at that point starting a PhD in parrots, because it was the mid-70s, and at that time there was an economic upswing, and all the bird breeders who had been breeding budgies until then suddenly could afford to buy real parrots. And there was an influx of parrot species from all over the world. And being at the university and being relatively nice with people and having contacts with agriculturalists, I got to study essentially all the parrot species from the entire world in Switzerland. That experience convinced me never again to keep a parrot in cages. Okay? And I have been working diligently and strongly in the background to restrict imports, to educate people and so on. And it has been one of the sad things in my life to see the decline, the continuing decline of parrots in the wild, and of course also of parrots in captivity. There are crimes being perpetrated every day with parrots. And I have since then worked in the field. I went many, many times to Australia to study parrots in the field and to do ecological, behavioral, and evolutionary studies in Australia, and also in southern Patagonia, all the way up to northern Chile. And so this is a background that tells you a little bit, in my experience, how far we have come in the last few decades, and actually the development has not been good. And that development is the case for entire nature. We are now in Vancouver. 3 years ago I was here. Vancouver at this time of the year should have a brilliant blue sky with clean air, and we don't, and we all know the reason, and yeah, we all know what is happening. So we need to talk about things that are not always so nice. We are the scientists, we are in the driver's seat, and I believe that as scientists, it is not a contradiction to be also an activist. We need to speak out, we need to collaborate, and we need to tell the truth to people, whether it is a taxi cab, whether it is somebody who gives you coffee. People don't know, but they need to know, and we know. So with these few words, I would like to wish you good luck. Unfortunately, I can't be here. I wish I could, but I know that it is being streamed and then afterwards archived. Again, The working group Psittaciformes is ahead of the curve. Every time, this is the best working group that we have. It is a leading one. Please keep going. You will have all my support, and I will watch afterwards when I have a little bit of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dominique, for your nice words and for your support all these years. Without your support, we wouldn't be here.
And without you, we wouldn't be here either. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, well, okay, it's quite a number of us. I'm glad to see that. I was sort of afraid, let's see how many come, and I was hoping that we're not going to be just 4 or 5 of us. That's glad to see you all. I am very bad in being formal. Yeah? So I'm going to be sort of very informal and trying to be as relaxed as possible, and I hope you won't feel bad about that. I have my mate here, so you will see me drinking my mate every now and then when I cannot speak anymore. So I can tell lots of stories about that at some point afterwards. Let's start, because we have a very, very dense program, lots of things to discuss and talk about, and the day is going to be short. Are we okay with the YouTube transmission?
Yeah. Yep. People say the sound is okay.
People say the sound is okay?
Yeah.
Perhaps already some comments.
Yeah. Alan Lee is there, Laura Kim is there.
Okay. If you good morning, good evening, and so on to everyone through the channel. If anything goes wrong, please let us know, and we will try to sort any possible problems. Good. I decided to start with our logo there. Very nice. Thanks to Rowan Martin, we have this, and a collaborator he has. Rowan is the coordinator of the African region, so we have this very nice logo for us to enjoy. And whoa, this is in, as usual in our group, a joint thing, joint work, basically, and always to see those names, and I'm so glad to see that. When we start this tradition in the group of having these multi-author papers and multi-author presentations with lots of names, some people sort of say, "Wow, doesn't it strange? It looks a bit strange." And I said, "Well, actually not. Actually, it represents what we are and what we want to do. It represents this sort of need of working all together in just with the same aim. No? We have a sort of their situation in the Parrot group, as Dominique was saying, as we all know, it's not new to us, and I'm not going to stress that much at the moment. But then in such their situations, their answer has to be something at the same level. Yeah? And I think, and I'm convinced, that if we don't tackle this sort of, let's call it crisis, current crisis, if we don't tackle it together, well, we are not going to be successful. And this is sort of the philosophy I was trying to just promote during our 8 years of work all together. I'm going to make a sort of introduction about the group and our history as a group, because, well, some people are from the very beginning. We have some sitting here, but some other people join at some point, and they miss some parts of our story. And I feel some things are better understood if we know what was before us. Everything started, as Dominique said, in the IOC 25 IOC in Campos de Jordão in Brazil. It started as a round table discussion where we wanted to discuss some things about basically the Parrot Action Plan, that needed at some point to be updated, and we had this idea, okay, what do we do? It was due since 2004, at that time it was 2010, and we had this sort of frustration feeling what to do about this, and we decided to organize a roundtable discussion. Together with Jamie Giladi, Igor here, Timothy Fried, Rob Heinzen. They are not here at the moment. I hope they are connecting to us through the YouTube channel. And that roundtable was an absolute success. We had, if I remember properly, something like 82, 83 participants. We never had the idea of such a big roundtable. And it was the beginning. I remember we were passing a list through the room, and people were registering their emails, and everything started just like that. But it was a sort of spontaneous thing, but some things were very clear in our mind at that time, and I pointed here some of them. It was clear at that time that we had a lot of data deficient species. 2010 was much better than 2002 when I made the first review on the subject. 2002, I remember writing, okay, we know nothing about the breeding biology of wild parrots for 92% of the species. In that review in 2002, the situation in 2010 was better. We knew nothing about 70% of the parrots in the wild. Breeding biology, of course. But okay, 70% still was a lot. I believe now we improved quite a lot. At that time, one of the aims was saying, okay, we need more research, we need more information. We cannot be in the field guessing what to do. We need to know what to do. Another problem was detected at that time was the need of a better dissemination of what was going on or what was been doing. Yeah. There was a clear idea that we need to exchange information, particularly about methodologies. Today is going to be one of these days. And the need of updating the production plan was always behind our mind, somehow. I'll tell something about that later. So we created this network of researchers, which was at the beginning called the Parrot Researchers Group. That was our first name. Some people still ask, what happened to the Parrot Researchers Group? Well, it's actually us. We just changed name. And the idea from the very beginning was establish, promote, and coordinate research projects around parrots, of course. When things developed a little bit more, we started to discuss things, exchange correspondence. We had a second meeting in Cusco in 2011. So we decided to formalize our objectives a little bit more. And at that time, I'm going to just read them to be clear. Promoting parrot research was number one. Establishing research needs and priorities for the future, basically. Keeping a particular attention to regional conservation strategies. And this word, regional, is going to appear again and again in our work. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on. I remember when Jamie was proposing this third objective, identifying barriers to effective research and conservation parrots, because many people were having problems in the field to carry on their work. And identifying solutions to those problems was one of the aims we had at the very beginning. And the creation, the last one, the creation of what it was called at that time, the Research Coordination Committee on Psittaciformes, under the auspices of the International Ornithologists Union. At that time, we were still an ad hoc group with no affiliation, but we knew we could become part of the IOU. At that time, the IOU had this name, Research Coordination Committee. So we had that aim. At the beginning, everything was done through the the Google group of the Parrot Researchers Group. It's not active anymore. At some point, we had something like 300 members participating of the group. We are not using this anymore, and I'm going to tell you more about our new way of communication later on. That time for the Parrot Researchers Group was a very productive one. I have to say, we had many discussions about different subjects, ranging from exotic parrots and the effect on native fauna, management of busy nest boxes. I remember a very useful discussion on that going on, and people learned quite a lot about that subject. There was discussions on the great parrots. I have them with me today, in a way. Discussions about tracking devices, pesticides, ectoparasites in the nest, population monitoring. Lots of very, very interesting discussions. These discussions are still available, and there's a link in our new web page. There's a topic in one of the forums, and so if anyone needs them, they're still there. In 2013, we finally we applied and were accepted as a research coordination committee on parrots of the International Union. We wanted basically to expand our work under the umbrella of the IOU. That was our aim at that time. And very shortly after that, we became what is now our name, the Working Group on Psittaciformes. We have also lots of members, 235 last count a few days ago. And this is a sort of a screenshot of the IOU webpage. We have a space there. This is a sort of brief space introducing the group for people from outside the group. So if you want to add something to that, just please let me know, and we can make some additions to the IOU webpage. It basically talks about our objectives, who we are, and what we do. I recommend you visiting it. I need my first marker, if you don't mind. Does anyone want? I can share it very gladly. As I said, a very important feature of the group from the very beginning was our what we call a regional approach. Everything in the group is done from the regions, different regions. Different regions have different problems, different needs, different cultural ways. People think in different ways. So we said, okay. I would still remember a very, very, very nice and productive discussion I had with Professor Enrique Bucher. He's known for his work on monk parakeets a long time ago. And we were exactly talking about what to do about the parrot situation. And I remember he was at my home, and we were saying, okay, but if we want to do something, it cannot be sort of imposed from above. It has to be something that comes from every region on this planet with particular needs, with particular ways, and then all the regions working together. But starting from every corner of the planet and from the different perspectives. I had that always in my mind. So when we started to build the group, I proposed this sort of division of the group. You can see it here. I can tell more about it. And it was accepted, and I'm very glad about that, because the results have been impressive. Really, really good results. We have, for the ones that don't know the group well and are new to it, an African region. I wrote here the names of the regional coordinators, as we call them. Every region has the right to decide how many coordinators, who is going to be, who they are elected. We elected them every 4 years. So Africa, Australasia, the Caribbean region, which is at the moment we need someone to coordinate it. No, I'm not pointing in that direction anyway. Maybe. No, don't. I'm not into much pressure. We have the continental, the tropics, the Indo-Malayan region. We have, well, at some point we decided some things doesn't fit in this scheme. No, what do we do with all those parrots in cities? Yeah, and thanks, Roland, we created what is called the urban parrot section, which deals with those parrots who doesn't fit well in any geographical region. And we have what I call, or decided to call, the secretary office, which is basically me coordinating all the rest. Basically. And what we also have, and it's very nice, I've been doing things with them. It's been an extremely nice experience. We have a partner, the Grupo de Interés Temático de Psittaciformes from the Sociedad Mesoamericana para la Biología y la Conservación. This is a Central America organization, conservation and biology organization. They are extremely active, doing very interesting projects, and it's led by Martin Lezama Lopez. And I have a message from him, which I want to tell later on. I've been in Nicaragua, for instance, doing things with them. It's very nice and very active group, which is it's not part of our group, but it's a very close partner. Okay. To tell you now what we did till now, what every region did until now. It could have been much nicer if every regional coordinator could be here talking to you and telling you. But well, sometimes we have problems to get the right funding, so not everyone can attend and things like that. But it's okay. I'll try to mention the work of everyone else on their behalf. The African region was the first one to tackle this problem we have of no parrot action plan and a completely outdated conservation situation. So they worked extremely hard during the period 2010 to 2014, and they were the first ones to publish our first joint paper as a group. You have the reference there and screenshot of the first page there, dealing with the large species in Africa. This has been an excellent work. In editor of the special issue where it appeared, and I'm very proud of what they did. The situation they found, of course, is not the nicest I could describe, but I'm not going to go into the details of the results of the work. Just presented what it has been done. As I said, it was part of a special issue, and with a number of nice papers, high quality stuff. I was extremely glad that they were the first ones to accomplish this sort of, for me, I've been involved in this updating, or the, how you want to call it, of the Parrot Action Plan, since the Parrot Action Plan was about to be, well, the Parrot Action Plan was thought to work in quadrennial periods, and the last one was in 2004. Since 2004, we were just trying to have a new one, an updated one, and it was 10 years till we managed to have something. And we did things in this format, in a paper format, because IUCN didn't want to continue the actions plan anymore, but we still feel that we needed that. So we said, okay, we are scientists, and what we do as a scientist. Well, paper is our papers is our way of making things public. So we decided to turn into this sort of format. And I'm very glad Africa was the first one. And they went beyond the Pearl Action Plan, and they also published a special issue on different aspects of the Pearl biology in Africa. They did even more things. For instance, in 2016, they organized a symposium at the Pan-African Ornithological Congress. This was very popular with many attendees, very nice talks, and it was like a seed for future work, and I'm very glad to that. I'm not going to go through all the titles of the presentations. We will have them in our webpage. This talk is going to be available for everyone, so you will have it anyway. Very recently, the next paper related to the work of the African region has been published. Rowan Martin published it recently. So we have it here about wild trade in African pearls. Another very, very important contribution. I'm very proud of Rowan Martin's work, I have to say. The Australasia region of our group has also been working in the same line of subjects. The first thing they managed to do as a group was to organize a symposium in previous IOC Congress in Tokyo. It was a very nice symposium. Several of us attended it, and I was extremely glad about the quality of the work presented. Also, with lots of different talks, you will have them available through our webpage. And in our library, details afterward, I'm going to, in the library we have them all, the abstracts or the extended abstracts, depending on the cases, so you can reach them. Recently, they also published another sort of review of the conservation situation in their region. They call it a comparative study of extinction risk, which is an excellent one. I recommend it to you. And they also work on a special issue on pearls with many papers. So it's excellent work carried out by this region. Again, I'm very proud of that. They did a brilliant work in different ways, different subgroups working at the regional level, which is a very impressive result. And now I'm about the Caribbean region. That maybe I could call well, Sam sitting in the back there, and Thomas White. They've been coordinating the region, or they coordinated the region during some years, but now their commitments to other projects don't allow them to continue doing this anymore. And as I wrote in the previous slide, we are looking for someone that moves the work of the region again. So yes, this is an advert, definitely. We need regional coordinators for the Caribbean region to continue the work. And the work that Sam and Thomas did during the years as regional coordinators was basically related to different species on Bonaire, in Puerto Rico, rehabilitation of species, tracking of birds year round, reintroduction programs. I think Sam is going to talk about some of them. Afterward, monitoring of artificial nests, a long list of different projects. which I hope will be continue and increase. But maybe some tell us about that in this talk. The Neotropical region, which is a very large region, will imply the work of a very large number of colleagues. And I still remember when we started with Igor to work on this, we were sort of scratching our heads saying how to tackle this. You know, it's a lot of species, it's a huge area, and if in a particular region joint work is needed, it's exactly in that one. If not, success is not warranted. So together with Donald and Martin, we started to contact everyone in the region, members and no members, and everyone that could just bring a little piece of information. And at the end, we had something like
101.
101 people on board, and the result has been published last year, and what I consider an extremely well done paper. The story that it tells is not the nicest, and we know that for sure. But still, I think it's an extremely valuable contribution, involving people from a number of countries, as you can see in this slide. Many colleagues from many countries, 21 countries actually. Information on 192 populations, which is very impressive, covering 96 tropical bird species. Again, not going to go into the details because Igor is going to present this in detail. It's going to be on Wednesday, 16:46. So I hope everyone can attend. I won't be able to be there because I have another talk at the same minute. So it's really pity, and I excuse myself not to be there. Sorry about that. But okay, Igor will present everything, and I'm sure it's going to be great. The region has also been very active in disseminating the work and the results in a number of conferences and symposia during all these years in Cusco, in La Habana, in Rio de Janeiro, in Iguazu, in Argentina. Nice presentations, nice gatherings and discussions all together. I've been myself in the one in Cusco, and it was an extremely productive discussion. At that time, really helped to establish our group. And now it's the time of the Indo-Malayan region. This is our youngest active region. It's sort of starting, I would say. Aiden is coordinating it, and he's at the moment alone. So we are also here looking for more hands, people that would like to join and would like to help him. Because being sort of alone as a coordinator is a very difficult task. So all information on potential colleagues that we could approach to have more people in that region working with us is very much appreciated. For that is why his first aim for the region is to increase the membership from the region. We need more hands there. Get more literature on Indo-Malayan parrots. We have, as you probably seen in our library forum, in our webpage, we have a very long list of papers we are seeking and looking for. Most of them are related to this region. Some very small journals in the region, but we cannot access the information, we don't get it. So it could be very important to, if some of you have access to the list, is a topic called Wanted in the virtual library forum in our webpage. If any one of you have access to that literature, we will be very grateful about that, because we need it. We need it to plan work, we need it to establish priorities, and to support Arvin's group in the region. He's also looking at the moment for, of course, as all of us, but particularly in that case, for funding to start with project on specific species. It's a very much needed situation. And we have the idea of doing a similar work as in the neotropics or in Africa or in Australasia, just making regional update of the threats currently affecting the parrots in the region. And so everyone which feels that could contribute is really, really welcome. We are at the beginning of that work right now. Shall I give you this space to you?
No, go ahead, you're doing fine.
Okay, Roland is here, and Michael is sitting by him. I didn't find a picture of you, so sorry about that. Sorry about that. Jose is missing. No, it's not missing. Jose is also part of the coordinators, the regional coordinators, but I don't see him. Probably he's coming later. I have the feeling there's quite a lot of work to be done about parrots in our cities, parrots outside their original ranges, and there's a lot of things we could learn from them as a sort of semi-natural experiment, I would call it. Semi-natural because we help this experiment to happen in a way, in some cases, I don't know. So this group is trying to increase our understanding about what's going on with these parrots that are just where they shouldn't be, or maybe where they should be. I'm not that sure about it. So there's quite a lot of plans for the region about, for instance, looking at the genetic of some of these species and their adaptations in response to the new habitats. Ecological niche modeling applied to them is also, some studies are also planned, and education, because people in these places start to live with something that is unusual for them. Some conflicts arise, some opportunities arise as well. So we need to educate people, and this region has this as one of their objectives. And we are going to listen to some of the results of their work in a symposium, which is organized as well on Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a very parroty day. We will have this symposium, we will have the talk in the afternoon. There is the one film, I'm going to tell afterward about this film. Many things. Again, unfortunately, I have another meeting at the same time, so I'm going to be only at the beginning of the symposium, but then I will need to leave. But I hope you will enjoy it and you all will be able to participate and hear about their work in more detail. You probably notice I'm just making an overview of things, nothing more. In the Secretary Office, now it's our turn. We started with several ideas and plans of what to do. And I'm very glad to be able to share with you. We completed one of our projects very recently. This has been published 2 months ago, or even less than that. Is what I consider a very nice study on the, how to say, the title tells a lot, but basically during years we've been scratching our heads thinking why parrots have no hemoparasites, or is it real or is it a methodological problem? So we decided to, let me explain this better. There are some questions that if you try to study them with just one species, or you yourself with your group, you won't never be able to get an answer. Yeah? This is valid for all bird species, for many different animals and plants. But in this particular case, I published my first paper on the subject quite a long time ago, 12 or 14 years ago, something like that. And at that time I was sort of saying why the burrowing parrots have no hemoparasite. They should have them. Yeah? I was in that paper proposing different explanations, why it was possible, why not. And I remember I made a mention of that when we met in our parrot symposium in Campos de Jordão. Dominique was there, and there were some sort of suggestion from the attendees. And I took all those suggestions. I said, okay, the answer is going, if we are going to have an answer, it's going to come from joint work. So we gather with some of you here, sitting here, some of you listening through YouTube, and we managed to get, to me, a quite impressive sampling all around the planet, many species, and we found the answers. And I would like to invite you to why parrots have no hemoparasite. Just read it there. But I'm very, very proud that after joint work all together, as we managed to find the answer. And I think this shows the potential the group has. There's plenty of questions around parrots out there, things that we don't know. And I said, okay, I'm pretty sure that if we work together and in cooperation, and we bring little pieces from every corner of the planet, we will have the answers. It's a lot of work, definitely. The first thinking on this was in Campos de Jordão in 2010. It's been published 2 months ago. And it took a lot of work, coordination work, and difficult work in the lab. Oh, now I see someone behind there, Santiago. Well, he can tell. We had lots of work in the lab, and sometimes it wasn't easy. But all has come together, and at the end we had our answer. But it was possible because this of just putting the bits from everyone together. And I'm very glad about that. Very thankful. Talking about joint things that we've been coordinating from the Secretary Office, one of them is our library. We have a virtual library, which basically is a collection of PDF documents, scans from old papers, and whatever we could do. It started as a Google Drive thing, very basic, very simple. Thanks to Jose, Soledad, and Carlos, who started all this as librarian or as originators. We started with something like 2,500 papers we had at that time, just again taking what you have, what I have, and putting all bits together. And making some EndNote reference list and things like that. Then we had some sort of concerns about copyright issues. The Google Drive was a too open thing, too accessible thing, and that was a sort of, yeah, because of copyright issues, you are not allowed to do that. Even if we are sharing papers between us as scientists. Everyone got this in a legal way, and we are sharing that for a common objective and a common joint work. This is legally allowed. It's not a problem there, but still there were some sort of gray zones, and we decided not to have this Google Drive anymore. So we moved to a Dropbox-based thing that is only accessible through our web page. So it's only for people that register in our webpage, for only members. And this is a completely legal way of doing things. So that is why we changed. Some people were asking why we deleted the Google Drive thing, because it wasn't the right way of doing it. When we learned it, we decided to change to the right way. Basically, that's the answer. It's still a sort of catalog, of course. It takes some work. So if someone wants to help, it's very much welcome. Now we have an impressive 3,700 and plus papers with lots of great literature we've been also collecting during these years. It is organized. Some people ask me why. That is why I would like to mention this here. It is organized in different folders in the Dropbox. For letters, papers A, purpose A, large files, papers B, large files, and so on. This is because if you are in a slow connection somewhere in the planet and you want to download a particular folder, at the very beginning we had all the papers in just one folder. When I tried to download the stuff, it was an awful thing. Yeah, it was quite difficult. And I tried purposely from a slow connection. It was just a nightmare. So we start looking at different ways of dealing with this. And we found that this sorting by letters in different folders, then you go to the Dropbox through the link in our webpage, you just say download, and the H folder is going to be downloaded to your computer in just a matter of seconds. In this way. We try other ways and it doesn't work. So that's the reason. I think, I hope I answer the questions I received about this. It's been updated on a weekly basis. Everything that appears is just download. The reference is entered to the EndNote list and it goes to those folders. The reference list is updated about on monthly basis, more or less. So you have it in EndNote format, in IIS format, in deep text format, and in basic text formats, or in different ways. If someone needs other formats, just let us know, and we will add additional formats. So that's not a problem. Currently, Martine Sama, Ingrid Denoville, Virginia Sanz, Ron Brighton are regularly helping us checking an extremely long list of journals. They are checking 209 journals regularly for parrot papers. It's a lot of work, so we will be more than happy to, instead of 4 collaborators, they are having 10. That will be a nice help to them and to me, so please volunteer. We need you. That is why I put that thing there. And at the moment, we are working without librarian. We had first, Carlos was a librarian, Soledad was a librarian. Now we don't have one. The work still goes, but it could be much nicer if we could have a sort of an official librarian who could oversight everything. At the moment, I am doing that as well. But again, help is very much needed, so please volunteer. Important is that the one who volunteers has to be proficient in EndNote, because the basic reference list is managed through EndNote. We could change, but to start, the volunteer would need to know what to do with EndNote. Okay, and the next thing, what was the time?
9:20.
So I need to hurry up. All right. Talking too much. The next thing we did from the secretary office is organizing a platform bulletin board. And this as a sort of, we always call it our web page, or we call it our interactive web page to simplify terms. The idea of this web page we use is one. This is the main page, and you need to go somewhere here and register with your username and password. Registration is free for everyone, but needs to be authorized. And there is a sort of, when I send invitations to the people to join the group and join the web page, I always send some instructions how to register. This is a sort of double registration, where you have to choose a username and a password, but you need to give another password that we give to you. And I had some questions about it and I explained why. The first week we had this web page in place. There was a simple registration. Everyone could go, just select username and password and go in. We had it there, but I didn't make the official announcement. It was there. So no one except Rowan Martin and I, who have administrators' rights, we were there, and the IT from the International Ornithologist Union. We were the persons who knew about it, no one else. The first week, it was everything there. It was not announced. No one knew. 77 hackers registered to the web page. 77 in a week. And then we saw that, and we said, okay, we need to do something about the security of the web page. That is why we put in place this sort of double registration system. Since that is in place, we had none, not a single one. So that is why. I know it's sort of difficult, it's not nice to register there because you need to give first this and then that and follow a set of instructions and so on. Sorry about that, there's nothing we can do about it. It's going to keep that way. And what I do is every time I invite someone, I send this set of instructions with a PDF file with screenshots of every step. So till now it worked. A couple of people had some difficulties to register, but usually not many. The web page is organized first before the organization. The idea of this web page has been sort of misunderstood, and I would like to use this opportunity to sort of steer it to the right direction. It's not a discussion forum. That's not the idea of it. It's not a place for debate. And it's not a place for arguing about issues, contentious issues, and things like that. That's absolutely not the idea. Yeah? If we decide that that's the idea, it's a different matter. But we need to decide it together, and today is a good opportunity to take decisions about this and other subjects. But the idea is not that. The idea is of this web page is to exchange information, to make available information to other people, and to coordinate joint work, to help people to communicate. The web page, for instance, if you go somewhere here, yeah, somewhere there, when you register, it has a section with all the members are there, all the contact information of every one of us is there. I'm going to show you afterward. There's a sort of sending messages private to people. It's a tool, and it's a tool for communication. It's a tool for coordinating work. It's a tool for coordinating research between us, to offering information, to post information, documents, images, is extremely powerful. We had some discussions recently. Well, are we using Twitter? Well, are we using Facebook and this and that? Because this is much better. Simply because that is much better. You can put all the images you want. You can put all the documents you want. You can send message privately. You can send messages to selected groups. It's a very powerful tool. But I insist, it's not a place for just simply controversy and just my opinion and my opinion. My view, or the view I have about this, is a way to facilitate joint work. And I hope we will have it like that in the future. It's doing well, definitely. As you see here, something like 2,600 posts until now in about 1,300 different topics. That is, to me, quite impressive. The number, I wasn't able to count the number of views. I could have asked the IT people to provide me with a figure, or you can do that manually if you want, it always appears, but it's very much accessed and very much read. But the web page is organized in different fora, 21 we have, and every fora has different, it's okay, I'm going to show you afterwards. This is an image of the private message section. Very few people know about it. There's a link, and the link is just up there. Click there, and you go to a different section of the web page. It has this private message section where you can write to specific people. You can create groups, talk to the different groups inside. Only the people you select will see that. Not even me as administrator will see that. So it is there. Oh, hurry up. Okay, I hurry up. Definitely. So you have it there. This is a screenshot of the members list. So a lot of information of every one of us is sort of compulsory. We ask people to provide information because we feel that if we are going to work together, we have to share with the others what we have, what we are. It's all there. Quite very often, people write to me saying, "Do you know who I could contact for this and that?" And I answer that gladly. But you can simply go there and look there who has the expertise we need. And the information is there. 230 colleagues working with parrots, providing information on their work is all there. This is extremely valuable information to coordinate joint work. Please use it. It is there. It's free for everyone. About the different fora and sections we have, I wanted to point to 3 of them are freely available to everyone without registration. The opinion section, as I call it, or opinion forum, the educational material forum, and the parrots in the wild. The first one is a section where every one of us can write an article, an opinion article, or a letter of a viewpoint, as you want to call it. You propose that article to us. We just make a little review about basically format and about how well written is. Yeah, but there's no filtering of ideas or whatever. Everyone can have an opinion, and we just publish it there. It goes to like a sort of topic, and the topic is freely available in the webpage. Everyone can read it. The number of reads at the moment is in the thousands. We have till now 3 already there, contributed by Aiden, Nathaniel, and Carlos. and they have really thousands of reads. Many of the big journals don't have those numbers. So please use this. It's a good opportunity to encourage people to, it's a good place for making your opinion known. Yep. Educational material to share with the public, lots of reads as well. You post your material. I post everything I had from the work in Patagonia. It's all there. Many people also added. Please add more. We need more. Parrots in the Wild is about pictures. It's to share the beauty of parrots with other people. I feel that very important. We don't need to share only problems. We need to share the beauty of them. I feel that very important. We don't need to share only problems. Okay, it's going on. It's working. Glad about that. And then these are the articles. It was silly from my side to select this screenshot. I could have shown you the number of reads, just clicking one label inside. That's all right. You can do that yourself. Many other sections for the different regions, things like how to use this web page. You have all the information needed there in one of the symposia. How much time I'm taking? I'm past the time, isn't it?
No, I'm just answering Carlos.
Thank you. We have job adverts, conference adverts, courses adverts. The virtual library is in there. Literature alerts are there. We have a section which is very popular, Parrots in the News, a journalist that is working with us, and it's extremely active, and I really like her articles. I just post it all the time. There are lots of nice information. Information on fundraising, how to get funding is also available there. A section of conservation discussion, research discussions. It's a lot going on. And I really, really encourage you to use it. If you don't know how to use it, there are a couple of basic rules about how to use this interactive web page. Go to the section, how to use this web page, which is somewhere there. And that's it. The access to the library is there. For the ones that don't know, it's that simple. You go to the virtual library form, you go to the post, which is called Access to the Library. There is a link, you click it, you are there. It's just a few clicks. This is a screen shot of how to use the page. You can take a look to it afterwards at home when you go through these slides again. And, okay, I'm at the end. We will have now something like about an hour. Yeah.
We have 15 minutes of break,
15
break, and 1 hour left.
We have an hour break and then 50 minutes to discuss several issues. I made a sort of first list, but this is not, it's open to whatever you would suggest. I would like that we discuss in the next 50 minutes.
No, we have a break of 15 minutes, then we have an hour.
Yes.
And then we have a break of 15 minutes before the workshop.
Thank you very much. That's the way it should be. We will have time for discussing about what I say, our successes as a group and future plans. All ideas about future plans are very, very, very much welcome, and I'm very much looking forward to hear what you think we should be doing and we haven't till now. Would be very nice to discuss about what we consider research priorities for the next few years. We tend to think in 4-year periods, so let's see where we should go. Regional conservation priorities and strategies is another thing we could discuss afterwards. We should decide what to do about our elections. We have them every 4 years. Now is again, the time we should do that at some point in September or October. I don't know who wants to keep going in this post of regional coordinator, who doesn't, who could jump in as Caribbean person. We need another hand at least in the Indo-Malayan region. So we need to discuss about that. We have some regions with very, very few members. As I mentioned before, the Indo-Malayan region is one of them. We need more people in that region. So, but we don't know how to approach them. Who is who? We need help on that. We maybe could discuss something now. And maybe people looking and listening through the YouTube channel have more ideas, things that they would like to ask, and we could do that in the next discussion time. And there is something related to the workshop we are going to have later on today, and is Martin Lezama is proposing to have a reintroduction workshop later on this year in Panama during the meeting of the society he represents. And he has this idea, and there is some support they can get. And he is basically asking us if we are interested on that, and if it could be something feasible, something that could be done. I don't know. I'm just passing his question and proposal to you, and we could discuss about that. And I think I'm done. Yes, almost, except for making an advert about the film that we are going to have this Wednesday. So it's a very nice film, and I will really encourage all of you to attend about the struggles to conserve the Western Round Peril. So I hope I will manage. I have another talk in course on that, but anyway, that's it. Sorry about making it that long.